Alright, here's another episode of 9mm and a 4-inch barrel, and does that rival a 357 Magnum when the 357 Magnum is in a snub nose revolver? And today what I have is the Remington HTP. I've tested the 125 grain Magnum in the past, but this is the 158 grain 357 Magnum. It's a full power load. Has a nice semi-jacketed hollow point, exposed lead. And comparing to that, we got the 9mm Plus P, a 115 grain jacketed hollow point. A lot of people might say, well, that's not fair, but you know what? I find fair to be using cartridges that are very popular, very available, and very much common. It's very common to use a 158 grain 357 Magnum, and it's very common to use a 115 grain 9mm. So there you go. I find it very, very fair. So as always, we're going to go through the chronograph, see what kind of velocity and accuracy we're going to get at the same time, and then we're going to go through the Juggernaut box, which contains a 1 3/4 inch pack of bologna to simulate flesh, covered by 4 layers of denim, followed by 3/8 inch particle board to simulate sternum or ribs, and then to water jugs to catch that bullet. So let's get started with the test. Alright, I'm about 12 feet from the target, 10 feet from the chronograph. We're going to see what kind of accuracy and velocity we get with the Remington HTP Plus P 115 grain jacketed hollow point out of the 4-inch barrel Ruger Security 9. .1106, 1112, 1078, 1144, 1120. Not particularly accurate or fast, pretty in line with standard pressure. I'll see how the 357 Magnum compares. Alright, being 158 grain, I think it's going to recoil more than a 125 grain, so I'm going to go single action, just so I don't anticipate that recoil too much, and pull my shots low, which would not be good for me. $11.23, 11.10, 11.03, 10.82, 10.95, and you can see those shots are going high. And let me tell you something, I'm holding that pretty tight, and you can see that the muzzle was wanting to jump up, and the snappiness of the recoil isn't there, but just like a 45 auto compared to a 9mm, it wants to rise up pretty high. So it wasn't too uncomfortable because it's more of a push recoil than the snap of a 125. However, it's more recoil than I would like to have in a carry round. But in 158 grain, you might get more penetration, which might be good for something like dangerous game. We're going to find out on the Juggernaut box if we get more penetration with the 158 grain. So let's get started with that part of the test. Alright, 9mm HTP. We'll see what we get through the ballistic pack and into water jugs. Alright, I got splashed pretty hard, and the first jug has more damage than what you would think it would have for only doing about 1100 feet per second. Here's the back of the particle board. Here's the back of the bologna. Doesn't appear to have any expansion yet, from what I can tell, but the damage to the first water jug was pretty impressive. Alright, first jug, very big amount of damage, and what's even more impressive is the second jug. Appears to be the same or even more than the first jug. That's not typical for what we see. And I can see that we're starting to tumble down a little bit, and we're impacting the fourth jug on the bottom, and we have the projectile in the fourth jug, and we have minimal expansion. Muddy out here. Just a little bit here, which isn't bad. Adequate penetration, more than most, and a little bit of expansion. Pretty sharp wicked pedals though, even though they're not very large, they are pretty sharp. So I wouldn't want to get hit with that, to say the least. Now let's see how the 357 Magnum compares. .357 Magnum through the snub nose. We'll see what we get for damage. Alright, so the first jug is split open. The baloney pack is absolutely destroyed. Hole at the back of the particle board is a little bit bigger than 9mm, but we're seeing here with the baloney just massive damage to the baloney. First jug, it split it open on the side here. Pretty devastating. Second jug, it went right through as we expected. Third jug. We have a hole at the back of the third jug, and it appears that we have a hole in the fourth jug, and a little bit of dent out the back of the fourth jug. Say it's in there. It's just a big, gigantic, expanded ball of lead and copper. No jacket separation. That's pretty ideal when you look at something like Remington's hunting line of ammunition. You see stuff like that. They advertise stuff like that. So that would be ideal for something like that. Self-defense, it did pretty well. Expanded more than the 9mm. It hit a lot harder. Is it better? Is it more effective than the 9mm? I'd say probably. Is it my choice for a snub nose load? That's the real question here, and I would say probably not. I didn't feel quite confident enough with that round. I think it's a good round. If you made a contact with that round right there, it'd be lights out for the attacker. But you know, you're only going to get one shot before that muzzle rises up quite high. You have to bring it back down. Be fine for dangerous game, but as for close quarter combat, I would say it's a little bit much for that snub nose revolver, just because the recoil it's a little bit much, and it was raising my shots up. So you know, that means my muzzle was rising before the bullet even left, so a lot higher impact than what I was anticipating. So it would work, but it wouldn't be my first choice. That's what you get today with the 158 grain HTP Magnum and the snub nose revolver compared to the 9mm basic jacket hollow point plus P. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.